Hey guys, and welcome back to RH2 Racing. Today we're going to try to fix this floppy vent problem. Ugh. Alright, let's try to fix this problem. You ever have these things on your Miata just kind of, as you're driving, just kind of flop down and get all loose? I mean, you know, it's a 24-year-old car. Things are going to happen. So I'm going to try to use this cord method. You just put a piece of cord in there, try to fish it through. Probably be better if I had a little hook, but let's see if this little thing can do it. I'm gonna go grab something more like a hook. Be right back. Alright, after some trial and error, I finally got this to loop through. It's kind of frustrating to do. I just fashioned a little hook out of an old, very, very tiny Torx screwdriver that I'm not going to be using. So basically, you just wrap this around here like this, and then you just give it a good old tug. Let's see how that goes. Came out with a bit of a force. When it does actually come out, looks just like that. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them like that, and we'll be back inside. Alright, in order to fix these eyeballs, what you need to do is actually take this part out. And how you do that, you take a screwdriver and you just, there's these little tabs all the way around it, four little tabs. You just take your screwdriver and just kind of pry up a little bit, and then once you start getting it, it'll pop open, and then you'll be left with it looking like this. You'll pop this out, and you'll take this out. And what you're looking for is this little part right here. This is the part that's kind of not necessarily gone bad, but this is what's the friction material that actually holds the vent in place. And what happens is over time it gets looser and looser, and then it just doesn't really want to hold anymore. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take these pieces out and then put some electrical tape behind it, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, now what you're trying to do is take out the pads. There's little felt pads that are right in here. As you can see, for some reason these have actually kind of, I don't even know what happened here, but they're supposed to be down here. These have actually kind of flapped up, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to carefully peel these away. Now, they should peel away clean, however, this thing's 24 plus years old, so with that you can see all the residue here that I'm going to have to remove. But eventually, if you do it right, you take these little pads out, and they're just little felt pads. If they still have glue on them, then you're good. Otherwise, if they're like these, where they're just old and crusty, I'm probably going to have to put some super glue on them or something. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this up with a little bit of glass cleaner. It's probably one of the safest things to use on that. And I'm going to clean these up and be right back to you. I'm going to show you on this one here just how to peel this away. It doesn't really take very much. You have to watch out. They have these little slits in them, so they're kind of delicate, but they should just peel away fairly easy. Just be careful with them, that's all. Don't need much. But these are, it almost looks like these have been taken out before or something. They're just kind of old and crusty, but there you go. That's the underside where the glue is. And then the other side, but you can see the glue here is just like, just old, nasty. Okay, so we've got these all taken out of the housings. You're going to want to cut a piece of electrical tape that's the same size, and you're going to want to put that on there like that. Now some of these are really bad. They're not, the adhesive is not good, so at that point it's not going to want to stick at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of contact cement on there. This is just a little cheapy contact cement, and I'm going to go ahead and tape or glue all of the pieces onto some tape, and then we will go ahead and start doing the install. Okay, now that you've got these glued together, mine aren't all that straight, but that's okay. You're going to want to take them and put them on the inside here. Just stick it around the inside of the little base here, and then once you get done with that, then you can start reassembling. Here I am just putting in the last one in here. Try to get it fairly even in there. And as you see, just real simple. Just put them back in there. Then you take the little eyeball and push it back in there, and then you have your trim ring. You line up the little, there's little marks here. You see the little nubbins, those go on there, and the whole thing just gets popped right back on. Might take a little effort. There it goes. And then once you get it done, you can see this is a lot stiffer. You can still move it around, but it's not going to sit there and droop. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on it there in the back, and it's not going to droop at all. Just got finished putting in the little felt pads again on that one. The eyeball in there, make sure it's fully seated in there. Take my ring, make sure that's lined up where it needs to be. It just snaps right in there. Make sure it's all in there nice and tight. And again, like with this one here, this one's pretty tight. It'll loosen up over time, but you don't want it flopping around while you're driving and drooping down to the bottom. And again, putting a good amount of effort in the back here, and it's not moving at all. And there you have your fixed eyeballs. That way you can go ahead and have some ventilation where you need it. All right, there we go. So we've got these in here. There. They just snap right in. You'll know if you get it right because they'll just pop right in there. If it doesn't pop right in, just pull it out, turn it a little bit till you get it lined up, and then it will pop right in. Sometimes. There it goes. Right in there like that. And look at that. You can still move them when you need them, but they're not going to be all droopy. And this is like it is when it's droopy. Nothing like that here. Alright, today we're going to try a new technique that I learned stopping all this floppy stuff with the eyeballs here, you know, just This just, it's no good. We did the other fix that was a little bit more involved, taking the eyeballs out and everything, and if you see, they're pretty solid. You know, I've got them aimed right now where I want them, so I don't really want to mess with them, but they're pretty solid. What I did is I saw another video out there where they were using these little felt self-stick tabs. They usually go on the bottom of like lamps and things like that. You can find them over in the hardware aisle of Walmart and other places like that. And they're just little adhesive stick-on felt pads. There's not much to it. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to move this down, and we're actually going to stick it down in there with a little screwdriver, and trying to see if that works and fixes that up. I think it does. You don't even have to take out the eyeball, but we'll check it out and see how it goes. All right, guys, here's attempt number 1. Now what you're trying to do is get it right down into the bottom here. I'm going to try to show you right down in here, and then move the eyeball back into place. And this is what they look like. They just got little adhesive bottoms to them. I'm just going to stick that right in there. Let's see if I can position myself to do this and film at the same time. Be a little bit more difficult. That's okay. Using my little tool to push that down. So I want to make sure it's got a good grip down there, because you don't want that flying around in there. Adjust the vent. Yeah, look at that. That works really good, and that's going to be an easy fix. Those are probably only a couple bucks or so, and that's a much easier way of fixing your eyeball vents in case you need to. Here's a little different view on this. You get your eyeball and it's all loose and everything. You just point it down like that. Sorry for the noise, but I'm outside right now in an apartment complex. And you just push this down. Get that seated down in there. Oops. That down in there. Push all that adhesive down in there. That one didn't get in there as well, but it still works. You can kind of see that one. I need to really adjust that one and move that back. So it's not as unsightly, but either way, it still works. Look at that. And if that comes out, I've got plenty more. This thing came with 105 of these little things. So I can fix this thing all day long with one little package, and it won't cost me hardly anything. Floppy vents. Ew. What's your problem? I got floppy vent.